Etsy, what are you playing at with your ranking? It makes no sense. So yesterday, in a Facebook group I moderate on, eRank group if anyone's interested, awesome group, you should totally sign up for it. A person asked a really awesome question. They have listings optimized for the search term pierced ears and were checking using the eRank rank checker to see where their listing was ranking, and also the really great thing of comparing to what things were ranking really highly and trying to figure out why were those things ranking and their items weren't. And so they asked a very valid question. Why are these two listings at number 1 and number 2 that have practically no views and hearts, whereas her listing had much more views and hearts, but were ranking much lower? So I thought this was an awesome question for a little bit of a deep dive as to what is ranking and how and why are these items ranking. So firstly, simply put, because I get asked this all the time, what is ranking? It's when a customer puts a search query into the search bar on Etsy, they're taken to a page of results. Scroll down that page and the first results they see, that's considered to rank at position 1. And it's like a queue of results all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So obviously you want to rank as high as you can because you'll be seen the soonest on the search. And how does Etsy determine where an item will rank? Well, they actually explain a little bit about this in their ultimate guide to Etsy search, which I'll leave a link to in the comments. But basically for the term pierced ears, there are nearly 30,000 listings that have those words somewhere in the title and the tags, so that are considered a match for Etsy to say, yes, that's possibly what this item is. So obviously not every single item there, not every single listing can be shown on the first page. So Etsy has to create an algorithm to determine what to show on the front page. And that is very complicated, and we can't know everything about it. It would be lovely to have someone give an explanation to say, if you do A, B, and C, your listing will rank on page 1, spot 1. Unfortunately, if that kind of thing existed, everybody would know how to do it, everybody would do A, B, and C, and then suddenly Etsy would need to find another way to rank things because all listings would be equal again. So the Etsy algorithm has to take in the many factors that Etsy gives it, the title, the tags, how well they exactly match what the search query is in their title and tags, and by exact match it has to say pierced ears, the two words together, rather than having the word pierced maybe somewhere at the start of the title and the word ears somewhere at the end, or pierced in the title and ears in the tags. So an exact match means the two words are there right together in both the title and the tags. And also Etsy tells us it looks at what other similar listings in that shop, what they've done in the past, the shop ranking score, how much of their policies etc. are filled in, how they've done with sales before, and very importantly, how customers interact with your listing when they see it there. So a listing might appear to have very few views, but if the views it gets, if it only has 1 view, but when it was showed in the search for pierced ears, that is when the customer clicked on it and saw the listing because of that search term, compared to a listing that might have 10 views, but they all came from a different search term or a different search place, then the algorithm can say, when I have to show a listing for pierced ears, even though that other listing has more views in total, this listing here, it gets seen more often when I show it for the term pierced ears. So ranking is very dependent on the searched term and how customers are responding to items in that exact searched term. So let's look at these two listings that were in position 1 and 2 that seem to have such low customer interaction and figure out possibly why they were ranking so highly. So the first listing, the listing at position number 1, we can see that that was updated less than a week ago. Newness is a big factor. When you relist an item or when you create a brand new item, even more important, this can give you a temporary boost in search. So we might just have spotted this when it was on a temporary boost. And also, when we go and look deeper at this shop, it's only 18 days old and has had 12 sales already. So new shops get a little tiny bit of a boost as well, because Etsy's trying to understand what they're all about. It gives it a chance to see how it does. And if it does well, then Etsy might say, yep, this one's a money maker for me. And if it does rubbish, well, it tried. And so in those 18 days, it's nearly making 1 sale a day. This is fantastic for a new shop, so it makes sense it got a bit of time in the sun for that listing. But when I checked this morning, 12 hours later from when I checked before, that listing is no longer at position number 1, it's dropped down to position number 10. So it had a chance, it was at position number 1, but you're not fixed at that spot. Things change, new listings come in, Etsy experiments with different things, so it was only at that number 1 shop. It was only at that number 1 spot for a short time. Let's look at listing number 2. Now that's definitely not as new. It's almost 2 months ago since that listing was renewed, so it's definitely not a newness boost. And since it was created, it's only had 1 view. That sounds really rubbish to be a ranking item. Let's look closer at the shop. Okay, this shop has had nearly 2,000 sales, which makes it in the top 3% of Etsy sellers. So Etsy understands this shop, it understands it's a jewellery shop. It could well have sold multiple listings for that term, but not necessarily that listing. So Etsy understands that it's worth giving a listing a chance because that shop makes it money. And when we deep dive into their tags, we can see the term pierced ears is used as a tag in 18 different times in 18 different listings. So to an extent, this shop is an authority on that term. Etsy knows it's not just a fly-by-night, or it's not a shop selling loads of different things. This is a shop selling jewellery specifically for pierced ears. And when I look again today, just 12 hours later, that listing has dropped again in the search. It's now ranking at position 48, so it's dropped like a stone. And it's been replaced by another item from that shop, an item that's much newer and doing a little bit better. So again, these positions are not fixed in stone. They change and adapt all the time with the different metrics, the different factors that Etsy's seeing, the different listings that come on in, and how that listing performs compared to other listings. Basically, all we can do is identify keywords we want to experiment with, try and give Etsy the best metrics we can with good tags and titles, and also try and give customers the best experience that we can, picking tags, picking keywords that are really relevant, so when a customer searches for that, they're like, yep, that's the very thing that I want, rather than, I feel a bit conned here, I don't like this. And not everything will work, and not everything will work as well as you hope it'll work, but over time you'll start to see that your shop becomes an authority for certain terms, and you'll be able to rank better for them. And Etsy will give you that little chance, that little boost a little more often, and then if you get lucky and while you're having your moment in the sun is a time when there's a few customers searching, they like your item and you make sales, then you'll do a little bit better. It's not a case of finding the exact right thing the first time, making the perfect listing and diving on right in there. You'll find many of these shops who are doing well either have a lot of listings just now or have a lot of listings in the past. They've experimented with lots of different things, and eventually they start to find the things that work for them. It's all about scientific investigation rather than just getting the one thing right the first time. Okay, I hope that helps demystify this just a tiny bit. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.